everyone, I'm Stephanie Brinkerhoff with Hair and Makeup by Steph, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a soft bridal braid. This style looks super complicated, but if you know the right tricks, it's actually very simple. So I want to walk you guys through my process. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so since we are doing a long braid down the back, I've clipped in a few clip-in extensions here in the center back just for some volume and to help fill in down here at the ends. So at this point, I want to create a lot of texture in her hair. So I'm gonna start by creating some curls. So I'm just going to lightly mist the Kenra Hot Spray 20 in her hair. And we want this to be a very lived-in, natural braid. So we're just gonna do some really soft curls. So the Hot Spray 20 is a really good curling spray and it's a heat protectant as well. So I'm just misting this all throughout the hair. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to go in with a 1 1/4 inch curling iron and just create some really loose waves in there. So I'm going to curl everything away from the face towards the center in the back. And if you want something that looks a little bit more formal, you can definitely do tighter curls in this. So you could switch to maybe a flat iron curl or a 1 inch curling iron or a wand. But I want hers to be pretty relaxed, so we're gonna go with the 1 1/4. And I'm also leaving the ends a little bit straighter. All right, once I have this curled, I'm gonna go through, run my fingers through this, just to soften this. And you can see that the Kenra Hot Spray 20 is really brushable, really easy to run my fingers through. Okay, so before I start getting anything pinned, I want to add a little bit more texture at her roots. So I'm going to go in with the Kenra Dry Volume Burst 3, and I'm just going to spray this all throughout her roots, all over the head, and then just work that through with my fingers. And then I also want a little bit of volume in the crown. Okay, so just back combing here at the top and then going in with the Volume Spray 25 to hold that in place. And I'm just gonna do this all throughout the crown. Okay, so now we have a lot of texture in here. We have some volume at the crown. We have a lot of texture at the roots from our Dry Volume Burst 3. Okay, so I'm going to start by just lightly skimming the crown here in the center back and getting this pinned. So I'm not including the sides, just the crown. I'm just gonna lightly get that twisted. And I'm pinning it fairly low, like close to her occipital bone down here in the back. So I'm just softly giving that one little twist and then pulling up on this for a little bit more volume. And then I can just go in with a pin and get that in place. So I'm essentially just keeping my bobby pins closed and I'm kind of weaving them into the hair and then pushing them back up. And since I have so much texture in her roots already, these pins are just going in really easily. Okay, so once that's secure, I can go ahead and start adding in my sides. So I'm going to take everything from the ears and up and bring it back. I'm gonna leave a couple pieces out to frame around her face, but everything else from the ears and up is gonna get brought back. I'm just going to get this softly twisted. And then I'm going to lay this right underneath the crown section so that those two blend together. Okay, so I'm just deconstructing this a little bit. Right like that, and then I'll just get this pinned in the same way. And then we're gonna repeat the same thing on the opposite side. So now all of the hair in the front is pulled back, so we're gonna work with this hair that's left down here. All right, so now we're working with the hair that's left down here in the back. It's feeling a little bit silky, so I'm gonna go in with some of the Kenra Spray Clay 15. This is just going to add some texture and some bulk. Just make this a little bit easier to work with. I'm going to grab one piece from each side right beneath this twist that I just pinned. So I'm grabbing one piece on the left and one piece on the right, and I'm going to bring these in together in an elastic in the center back. So as I do this, I'm going to have her look down just so that I can make sure that this braid is resting right along her neck, and so there's no gaps around the sides. Okay, so bringing those two together right beneath this twist. Okay, so once I have that in there, I'm going to stick my fingers through here and flip this inside out. And then from here, depending on how tight or how loose you want your braid, you can deconstruct this a little bit, or you can deconstruct it quite a bit. So I'm going to pull this elastic down a little bit just to soften that, and I'm gonna deconstruct this a little bit more. Okay, so you're pulling on these sections to fill in this gap right here. Okay, and then I'm just going in with a couple more pins to secure all of this in place. Okay, now I'm going to repeat that process, working my way down the hair. So same thing, I'm gonna take one piece from the right and one piece from the left, bring those together in an elastic and flip that inside out. Okay, so if at any point your elastics are showing, you can always come in with the tail comb and push this down. Right like that, just to hide that. So as far as how big of sections I'm taking, you want to do fairly large sections. The smaller the section, the more intricate your braid is going to look. So if you want to go for a more simple look, then definitely do bigger pieces. Okay, once you reach the bottom down here, you can come in with your flat iron or your curling iron and give these end pieces a little bit of bend. Okay, and then at this point, I'm gonna kind of deconstruct this a little bit. So I might go in and pull out a couple pieces. Very small ones, just to kind of detail. And then I'm also going to take a few of these pieces from underneath here, and I'm going to wrap them around this elastic to hide that. So I'm just wrapping that around, and then I'm gonna pull it through. Just like that. And I like to leave the ends a little bit fluffier, just so it doesn't look like it comes down to a point down here. So I'm kind of deconstructing that a little bit. So I'm just checking the shape, maybe making it a little bit bigger, making sure everything's balanced. Okay, and then I'm just softening a few of these pieces right around her face here. All these pieces right around the hairline. They always look really nice if you make them nice and wispy and soft. Okay, and then I'll just detail these pieces around her face. Okay, and that completes this soft bridal braid. Okay, if you guys have any questions or requests for future styles, please leave a comment below. And if you'd like to see more looks from me, you can click on this video right here. Thank you so much for watching.